Hi, church. This is the time of year we watch our favorite Christmas movies. It's a Wonderful Life, Miracle on 34th Street, Elf. But some people's favorite is While You Were Sleeping. It's played by Sandra Bullock. She plays a character named Lucy, who is a token collector for the Chicago Transit Authority. She is a very lonely woman. She lives in an apartment and she has a cat. And she longs for a life beyond her life. Every day she goes to work and she sees this handsome guy. His name is Peter, but they never meet. One morning, Peter is mugged, which is not uncommon in Chicago, and knocked unconscious, and he falls onto the tracks. Lucy saves his life and rushes to the hospital to check on him and whispers under her breath, "I'm going to marry this guy." Well, a nurse hears this whisper and lets her into the ICU. And when the family arrives, the story is told that Lucy now is engaged to Peter. Now, Peter has another fiancée whose name is Ashley. But Lucy doesn't have the heart to tell the family the truth. So Peter remains in his coma, and his brother comes along whose name is Jack. Jack and Lucy hit it off. It's kind of a chemistry thing. And when Peter comes out of the coma, he learns that his brother is, when Peter comes out of the coma, he learns that he himself is engaged to Lucy. So he agrees to marry Lucy, even though he has somebody else. And at the wedding, when the pastor is getting ready to marry them, she objects. She says, "I'm in love with your brother, Jack." And the last line of the movie is the kicker, the money line. And Peter is asked, "When did you fall in love with Jack?" And her answer was, "While you were sleeping." Now this frames the teaching this coming Sunday of the fact that a king is not sleeping well. He has insomnia. On the night between the two banquets, maybe the king had caffeine too late in the day. Maybe he's drunk too much wine. Maybe he's been wondering what it is that Esther really wants, because he said, "Esther, what do you want, woman? Like, I'll give you half my kingdom." So for whatever reason, while he was sleeping, God was at work. A couple Psalms you can read that kind of build this theology are Psalm 3 and Psalm 121, which speaks to how God is active while we sleep. Somebody said, "I'm going to turn all my worries over to God before I go to sleep, because God's going to be up all night long." My favorite, however, story of While You Were Sleeping is a story that pertains to my son, Chris. Chris was over in Kenya working in the ICU. All day long, he was taking care of a patient with scarlet fever and heart complications with her pregnancy. It didn't really look good for her all day, and so it was about midnight, and Chris had been with her for about 16 hours. And he said to the staff in Kenya, he said, "Do you mind if I lay down for an hour or so, just get some sleep? But wake me up if anything happens." And what he fully expected was he'd be woken in the middle of the night, only to find that the patient didn't make it. Well, at 6 o'clock, Chris woke up. They let him sleep for a while, and he woke up to the sound of singing. And Chris says, "What is that sound?" And the staff said, "You're not going to believe this, Chris, but the pastor and 60 people from the church came to the hospital last night, and they've been praying through the night, and God has done a miracle. Her heart is working again, and it looks as if we can deliver the baby." That afternoon, the baby was delivered, safe and sound, and she walked out of the hospital the next day. God had done a miracle while Chris was sleeping. So I want you to read through Esther chapter 6 and see how God is at work in the life of a man by the name of Mordecai. You're going to find that Haman has a plot to kill Mordecai, but the king is kept up all night as he hears the record of his kingdom, of how Mordecai had saved his life. And now the drama ensues of how Haman has come to the king in order to request that Mordecai be hung on the gallows. And the king would like to honor Mordecai for saving his life. It's a great story. It's going to be a good someday story to see in a movie. But this week we're going to talk about how sometimes there are divine reversals. How the thing that seems to be happening won't be happening because God is sovereignly, providentially working behind the scenes. We'll see you Sunday. while you were sleeping.
Welcome to our third week of celebrating Advent here at Grace. We're glad that you guys are joining us today. We're going to be doing Angels We Have Heard on High. This theme for Advent this week is joy, and this song is just full of joy. It's full of the love of Christ, and we're really excited that we can do this for you. I hope that you sing along with us.
Angels we have heard on high, sweetly singing o'er the plains and the mountains in reply, echoing their joyous strains. Gloria in excelsis Deo, Gloria in excelsis Deo. Shepherds, why this jubilee? Why your joyous strains prolong? What the gladsome tidings be, which inspire your heavenly song? Gloria in excelsis Deo, Gloria in excelsis Deo. Come to